everybody gets to be involved. We don't want to just put on a show at Hillside. We would like to pursue the presence of God as a team and have everybody's insights and everybody's opinion and everybody's, I don't know about everybody's opinion, but everybody's input. Everybody gets a chance to be a part, really. We feel like you can do a lot as an individual, but there's so much more that you can do when you're a team. And you guys get that, so thank you so much. Just to give you a little backstory so far and like what we've been building to with team nights, if you felt like team nights have been random, or like, okay, is this worth my time? We've tried to, so far, just do something that we can just be together and connect. You guys all are busy and things like that, but you all also have something in common, which is you're gifted creatively in some way or another. I like to be someone who can convince anyone that they're creative. You know, you ever met people who say like, I'm just not creative? I don't really believe that that's true, but for sure there's some of us who are like a little bit heightened in the creative side. So maybe we're musical, we're artists, and those are all of you guys. Everybody's laughing, so I can't tell what's happening behind me, but
I'm so sorry.
just stop. That'd be so great. But leading up to tonight, we've done some connect times. We've done some times where you guys are bringing some of your work, but we've been building to this moment where we feel like the purpose of this night is the purpose behind the entire reason for doing a team like this. And it would be when we have something coming up at the church that we want to put on, we want to put it on together and give a lot of different opportunities for you to be involved. And so there's a group of us who meet on Tuesdays for service planning. Wonderful people volunteer their time to be there. Caleb's one of those people. And so we've been talking about this series coming up at Hillside. It's coming up on September 16th, and it'll go 9 weeks. And it's going to be surrounding the book of 1 Kings. And we have some ideas that would get every single person involved. And so my hope is a couple things. One, if you don't have this piece of paper, you need to get this piece of paper.
It's your
On it, you'll see a reading list of 1 Kings. Usually I don't give a Bible reading plan on team nights, but you got one now. Here's the idea. We're going to be focusing on the life of Elijah, and if you see like kind of what we do every once in a while, we'll like theme a series, right? So like I think probably one of the better examples would be Genesis, and then also
Samuel?
what's that?
For Samuel?
Yeah, but I'm thinking of the one where we took different Experiencing God. Remember that, where we took like different photos all the time, and if you didn't, then obviously it made a major impact on us. We try anyway. But that's what we're going for with Kings. And so it's focusing on the life and times of Elijah. And we would like to do as much as we possibly can and use every single person to make that happen. I want to say like the angle or the theme that we're going for is kind of like, Caleb and I had like a nerd fest about this for like an hour, but yeah, kind of like an opposing tyrant of a government and kind of like a resistance. When you go through the book of 1 Kings, the history is that after Solomon, the kingdom of Israel kind of goes downhill. It's one bad king after another, and every chapter really says that this king was worse than the last. No, this king was worse than the last. And by the time we get to 1 Kings chapter 17 with Elijah, the king is Ahab, son of Omri, and it says that he is the worst that there's ever been. And the 9 weeks are basically, if you go and you read these chapters, it's just basically Elijah stepping in and doing something incredible against King Ahab and the prophets of Baal, right? So that's like Mount Carmel, that's Jezebel, that's him being fed by ravens, that's him healing the leper, like all kinds of cool stuff like that. And we're going to kind of package it in a way that's a lot like people of Yahweh versus what we may or may not call sons of Omri, which would be like that kingdom of Ahab. And so we have some things that we want to do. I don't know if you've ever seen like old propaganda posters where it's like flyovers and it's like two-dimensional images and a lot of red and a lot of white. I don't know if you've ever seen that. Or go Google image like Obey graphics. Obey's a brand. They have some good examples of that. But that's kind of the mode we're going for, kind of like resistance type thing, because we want to kind of tell what's happening in the story of Elijah without ever hearing from him. So for instance, one of the things we want to do is one of the things we want to do is when you come back to the church each week, there would be new propaganda up from King Ahab's camp, basically, either saying something that didn't happen or saying something that did happen. So let's say it was, we're going to open up in Elijah prays for no rain. Elijah says in the beginning of 17, there will be no rain on this land until I say so. And so we might do like the first posters. You see like the same poster over and over and over in the city. Kind of that look but it'll say, no man can stop the rain. And it'll have like the tag of their kingdom. So it's just kind of like that. And then you're going to go into the service and you're going to hear about what actually happened. So we're going to say, it's like fake news, but we'll never actually say that. So just erase that from your mind. As I was pitching this idea to Pastor Eric, he said, yeah. And I was like, fake news? He's like, don't you dare say fake news. So no one say it. But anyway, that's kind of the idea. But in the past, we've really only existed with a few of us doing that. Nick, Caleb, all of you have done some things. Andrew's made some original music before. All of you played in the band, and we all kind of done some things. But we'd really like to do something together as much as possible. So on the back here are some things that you can get involved with. And I want to say it this way. On the back are some things we would like you to get involved with. Mm-hmm. So here's like the first time at Team Night where we're taking the risk of saying, now you have to do something. So like, we've said, you're awesome. Get to know some people. We've let you bring in your artwork, and we're like, oh, it's so good. And it is good. And but we have prayed into the idea of trying to recommunicate and re-see in ourselves that we're gifted just as people, not just to serve the church, but whatever it is that you're doing outside of church. Those are amazing things, and God's using you to do those things. But then you also have an ability that you could help us teach and preach the gospel better. That makes sense? All of you have different schedules and different times, but that's what we're going for. So the idea would be at the end of 9 weeks, everybody here would have had some sort of input that you could either see or hear in some of those weeks, whether it be photo or writing or music, and we'll kind of go over some of these ideas together. But does that kind of make sense, what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Anybody think no? Because sometimes I'm not super clear. Okay, cool. We're really excited about it.